Hello everyone, and welcome to another math lesson from Last Minute Math Tutorials. Today, we are going to talk about what is a relation and what makes it a function, as well as other properties of functions. So first, what is a relation? In math, a relation is the relationship between the x and y values of ordered pairs. The set of all x values is called the domain, and the set of all y values is called the range. The independent variable is the x value, and the dependent variable is the y value. This is because the y value changes as the x value changes. So let's look at the example over here. We have been given a table relating the shoe size and the height of students in a class. So the shoe size is the x variable, and the height is the y variable. To find the domain, the first thing we have to do is to list all the x values from least to greatest. However, if the domain, which means the x value, repeats, we only write it once. So let's do that right over here. Now, we're going to do the same thing for the range. Now, we're going to do the same thing for the y values, the height, which is going to help us find the range. Now, there are a couple of different ways to display this information. First, we can use set notation in the form of domain equals and in curly brackets the x values from least to greatest. So it will look something like this. Then we're going to do the same thing for the y values, which will give us the range in set notation. Remember, if any of the values repeat, we only write them once. Another strategy that we can use is called a mapping diagram. So to do this, we start by vertically listing all the x values from least to greatest. So let's do that. We're going to do the same for the y values. Again, if any of the values repeat, we only write them once. Now, once we are done doing that, we are going to follow up by drawing an oval around each set of values. Next up, on top of the ovals, we're going to write the title of each list of values. So over here, the x values are called the shoe sizes. So we're going to write shoe size over there. The y values are called the height. So we're going to write the height up there. Finally, using arrows, we're going to connect the x values to their corresponding y values. Now, for both these methods, determining whether or not a relation is a function is simple. If an x value has two or more corresponding y values, it is not a function. So let's look at the example we have here. Already, if we look at 8, it is corresponding to 160, 166, and 174. Therefore, this entire relation is not a function. However, if each x value were only corresponding to one y value, then that would make it a function. Okay, so what if we were given a graph? How would we determine whether or not the graph is a function? It's simple. We would use something called the vertical line test. To do this, we would simply have a vertical line like the one we have over here, and then we would pass it through the entire function. If at each and every point it only touches one or less points, then it is a function. However, if it touches two or more points at the same time at the same x value, then it is not a function. So for this example, as you can see here, the vertical line only touches one point of the graph at the same time. Therefore, this graph is a function. Okay, so now let's go on to the next example. So what we have here is another graph with this relation over here. Now we're going to use the vertical line test to determine whether or not this relation is a function. So I'm going to pass it through the entire relation like this. So is it a function? No, it is not. As you can see here, the vertical line touches 2 points at the same time at multiple different x values. Therefore, this is not a function. So now, let's go on to this example. Again, we have a vertical line over here, and we're going to pass it through every single section of this relation. As you can see, the vertical line only touches one point at every x value. Therefore, this relation is a function. Now on to the next example. Here, we have a circle. To prove whether or not this circle is a function or not, we are going to do the same thing as before, running a vertical line through each part of the relation. As you can see, at multiple x values, like the ones here, here, and here, there is more than one y value corresponding to the x value. Therefore, this relation is not a function. Okay, so now let's do one last example. So the relation we have here is kind of different from the other relations we've seen today. First off, you notice many circles here. There's some circles that are filled, like this one, and this one, but there are also some empty circles, like this one and this one. What do they mean? An empty circle means that there's no y value there. However, a filled circle, like this one, means that there is a value there. What this means is at the x value of -2, the y value is 2, but it is not -1. Same thing for the x value of 3. It is -1 and not 0. So, is this relation a function? The answer is yes, it is. This is because at the x value of -2, the y value is 2 but not -1. Therefore, there's only one corresponding y value to the x value of -2. Same thing as here, there is only one. For the x value of 3, there is only the y value of -1, as 0 is a hollow circle. Therefore, this relation is a function. And that's it for relations and functions. If you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to your friends who may be in need. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.